Okay, good to connect with you all. And if you're watching recording, thank you for joining in. So what I'm going to run through this week is the third week, week 3. We are going to cover steps 5 and 6 of the 7-step process with this building your business using the 21-day program. So just to remind you what step 5 and step 6 is, what I'm going to run through is step 5. It's how to do the results and celebration appointment. This is the best thing. It's such a good part of the whole process, that. And I'm going to break down each and every step about how to take people through that successfully. Within that process, I'm going to bring in step 6 as well. And step 6 is what next. And that means, what next with regards to how to communicate the kick-on program for them and how they move forwards from their result of 21 days. Make sense? So you all are unmuted at the moment as well, which, unless there's any background noise, I'm happy just to leave it like that. We'll make sure we get through any Q&As as we go along, or certainly by the end. So there are a number of different steps. I like to spell it out and keep it simple. So preparation for the call. Do you know what? I am going to mute it, because you never know what just suddenly flies in the background and makes a load of noise. I know Kate's homeschooling. Love Hugo to bits. He's brilliant. Right. But do feel free to unmute if you need to stop me in my tracks, ask a question, please do. Right. Prep for the call. 3 things to do before you get on that results call with them. By the way, actually, I'm just going to add an extra bit in here. And I'm just going to remind you, I might have said this in the earlier training, but just in case I didn't, do not let them finish their startup call without getting them booked in for their results call. That's so important, because I used to forget to do that. And then I wondered why some people dropped off the face of the earth and didn't stick to the program. It's because they didn't have the accountability in the diary. They didn't know the results call was already booked in. They thought they could walk, hide away. When you book them in for the results call on their startup call, they know it's in the diary and the compliance will be much higher. Okay? So make sure you do that. Then, right, you're about to do your results call with them. 3 things. Number 1, I would recommend in preparation that you use either Zoom or something similar as a platform, something where you're able to have the option to record it. The reason being is when people are happy to do a testimonial interview with you, you want to grab the opportunity there and then. Okay? Because people get busy and then they might shy away from it later on. But some people in the moment, if you ask them in the right way, will say, yes, I'm going to do it. And you want to say, great, we'll do it now. And you want to be able to record it and capture it there and then. Okay? Because they're in that moment, they're feeling fantastic. They've just heard the results. That's when they're going to actually do the best interview with you and where they're going to be completely raving about it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you want to make sure you've got your tracker form, their tracker form, where they've got the original answers to their questions and measurements on. And certainly in the early days of you doing this, have the questions cheat sheet that I've sent you all the document for in the WhatsApp group, where you can use the cheat sheet to ask the questions. And you make sure that you're asking the questions in exactly the same way that you asked them at the beginning. And this is really important as well for their results and their answers. If you start asking things in different ways, it could skew the results. We just want to be mega consistent. And then the third thing you want to do is allow 1 hour for this results call with them. 1 hour in the diary. Now, to give you an overview, this is how I break down that hour. So the first 20 minutes is spent doing the health tracker form, where I ask all the questions, get them to do all the measurements. Okay, the second 20 minutes is talking about the next step for them, what's important to them, and then communicating how they can kick on from there with nutrition and the right products. Then the 15 minutes after that is there to do a testimonial with them, if they're open to doing an interview, grabbing that time there and then. And then the final 5 minutes is asking for referrals and saying congratulations again. And there's an art to asking for referrals. And I'm going to break all of these different sections down and go through all the steps through this appointment. Okay? So let's go. The results and the celebration call. You're on Zoom or you're on that video call with them, ideally video call. And the first step that you want to be taking, and I said this in the startup call as well, super simple, is building up rapport. Questions I might ask at the beginning is I just go, how are you doing? It's usually people that go straight away talking about their experience, whether it's how great they're feeling or how they found the program. People just get talking when they ask that because they just relate it to the program. And then the second other thing I might ask is, you glad you did the program? How you doing, Sarah? How you getting on? Are you glad you did the program? Oh yeah, I'm so glad I've done it. It's just great to hear that straight from the get-go. So that's it. Number one, building rapport, simple. Then number two, remember this in the getting started appointment, you're going to do the PPP process. PPP stands for purpose, process, payoff. Why are we doing this? Because it's very professional, I believe, and puts them at ease when they know what's going to happen with this call. So I'll go along the lines of, so the purpose of this appointment, Sarah, is to track your progress. We want to find out about how this has helped you. We also I want to support you so you know how to move forwards with the next steps. That's the purpose of it. The process, the way we're going to do that is we're going to run through the same health questions and measurements that we did at the beginning. We're going to talk about what's important for you moving forwards, and I'm going to give you further nutrition and supplement advice about how you can continue to feel as good as you're doing or even progress further. They're like, oh, great. They get it. That's the process. I feel happy with the process in their minds. That's what they're thinking. And the payoff. So all of that is so that we can celebrate your results and that you're going to be really, really well motivated to progress further. So that's the payoff for them. Celebrate results, be motivated. You could even add on there, so you know what's working for you. We're going to communicate how the nutrition and supplements have helped you so you know what's working. So you're clear on how to move forwards. And they go, oh, that's what's in it for me. That's the payoff for them. Yeah? So that's the PPP, purpose, process, payoff. That's number two. Number three, what you're going to do once you've done that is you're going to go into the health tracker process. Really, really simple, but there's extra to consider when we're doing this part. So when we do the health tracker, you're going to go through the same questions in exactly the same way. We're going to get them to score themselves 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. And when they do this, you're going to straight away, when they tell you what the score is, let's say it's now an 8 and, on their sleep, and it used to be a 3. Just going to let Joe in the room, who's just joined in. So you're going to say, right, you scored an 8, they score an 8 on their sleep, and you say to them, fantastic, it's an 8. Do you know what you scored last time? And they say, no, you said you scored a 3. And they go, really? Gosh, I didn't realize I scored that low. People are still surprised how low they scored it. And I say, yeah, last time you mentioned you were waking up a couple of times a night for half an hour each time, and you said it'd take you about half an hour to get off to sleep. Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah, they remember it. So I read back the notes of the problems they were struggling with before the program to help them. You've got to help people capture their own success, because people forget. Within 3 weeks, it's amazing how much people forget what life used to be like for them. So you help them capture their progress in the whole process. So you're going through these questions and you're reflecting back what they scored and what they said to you. You with me? In this process as well, on this health tracker, is you want to help them to connect the dots with what has helped them sleep better, for example, using that again. So when someone's gone, gosh, I used to be a 3 and now I'm an 8 on my sleep and it's so much better. What I want to be doing is I want to be reinforcing what's helped that happen. And I think about this from a nutrition perspective. So I'll say, well, you've cut out your stimulants, haven't you? You've cut out your caffeine. Maybe you not have as much alcohol in the evening. You said that was something you were doing a bit more of at the beginning. So the nutrition choices you're making and the sugar's reduced, that's helping you sleep better. And they're like, yeah, they make sense of that. And there's certain supplements that are helping, particularly with your sleep. So that Pro-Arginine that you take, that helps people get into deeper, more restful sleep. Oh, and by the way, the Body Prime, the magnesium's the relaxing mineral, that helps people with sleep. So those two particularly were doing that role in helping you sleep. Now that's something I've learned, and certainly something on a separate call we can run through on another training and teach you to connect the dots yourself about which supplements are doing what for people. So you can help them connect the dots. Are you with me? But that's what you want to be doing. So let's say the next one, they say, oh, my digestive system. Yeah, my digestive system, I was bloated all the time, had acid reflux, just used to feel really uncomfortable after eating. Well, and now it's at 9 and they go, yeah, my bloating's gone. I just don't feel heavy anymore. I feel much better after eating. Great. Well, you're probably not eating foods that were causing you to feel bloating. Maybe that was the gluten, the bread. Maybe it was the dairy. You'll know when you introduce them back in. We'll talk about that later. But at the same time, remember, we've put in the good bacteria with those bioactives. You've taken that green fiber drink that's really helped to cleanse your body and repair the gut. Those two together have been really key for along with your nutrition at helping your digestive system. And they're like, and you're helping the penny drop for them, why this has worked. And you're linking in the nutrition and the supplements all the time to what's helped them with that particular thing. So that when you get to the end of this, and when you talk about the kick-on program, they already know, they've already been communicated what's going to work for them moving forwards, so they can make a better choice as well. Okay? Now that might feel like quite a lot to get to grips with, but you know what? Until you got to grips with that training, ask your sponsor, ask your upline to step on a call with you, a results call with you, to sit in the background if you want them to help guide you and them at the end, your client, customer, on what to do moving forwards. Because you'll learn it. It just needs a few times to get to grips with it. So just ask if you need to. Okay? So you're helping them connect the dots. You're helping them do that. The other one is, I'm just going to highlight, is the aches and pains. So many people say, gosh, my aches and pains are gone in my body. I feel more free in my body. And what you want to be highlighting there is they're taking out, again, the sugar, the alcohol, these inflammatory foods and beverages that could be causing inflammation in the body. But that Pro-Arginine is fantastic at reducing inflammation in the body. The magnesium, the Body Prime, is great for relaxing the muscles as well. And so they just start to see. Okay? Now, if I went through all of that now with all of the links, it'd probably take too much on the training. We won't have time to go through the rest. So if you think it's important, let me know, and I'll run another training session that just goes through each of every one of those questions and which supplements to connect with it. Would that be helpful? Cool. Someone remind me at the end of this call, and I'll get it in the diary or put it in the WhatsApp group, and I'll make sure we get that booked in. Okay, number 4. So once you've done that, and you've done the measurements with them as well, by the way, ideally you want those measurements there and then. So you either prompt them to do them before they jump on the call with you, or get them to go and do them right there and then while you're on the call with them. Because what you're going to do next is my favorite bit out of the whole journey. You are going to love this bit when you do it properly. That is number 4. Number 4 is always do a results recap with them. It is the best moment for them and probably for you too. So this is what I do. I've done all the tracking. We've got all their results. And I just say, okay, Sarah, let me just tell you. Let me tell you what you've achieved. And I go from top to bottom and I read it all out in one go. I say, your energy levels have increased. You're no longer getting those mid-afternoon slumps. Your sleep's better. You're waking up more refreshed and you're sleeping throughout the night. You're feeling calmer and more resilient. Your stress levels have reduced. Those aches and pains have reduced. Your bowel movements are normal. Your bloating's gone. You're feeling better about your own body. You feel happier in your own mood and more positive. You've dropped half a stone. You dropped 2 inches off your waist and 1 inch off your hips. Oh, and by the way, your blood pressure's come down a bit as well. And you said at the beginning, if you could change one thing about your health, what would it be? You said drop a few pounds and have more energy. Well, you've done that and so much more. Congratulations. And I pause and I go quiet and I let the penny drop for them. And I let them have their own proud moment where they just kind of beam from ear to ear, and you can see it in them, and you have completely made their day. And you know what? I'm already starting to feel emotional, because that's how I feel sometimes when I hear these transformations. It's just phenomenal. It's the best feeling for you too. So, oh, blimey, where's that come from? So I don't normally get emotional like that, but it's just the best. And I want you all to have that moment with them, and for them and your customers to have that moment. And let them have it. And they may say a few words, and they may just catch, you know what, this has been the best thing I've done for years. It's the best I've felt in years. Thank you. Is often common things people will be saying. So once they've basked in their glory, and you've given yourself a virtual, an imaginary pat on the back, what I recommend you do next is you go into number 5. And you ask them, and you say, that's fantastic. What's important for you now? What's important for you now? But you need to frame this up a bit more. Because the biggest reason when people get results on any kind of nutrition program, the biggest reason why people fall back and go backwards again is because they never set their next goal. They never got clear on the future from there. They thought, I've arrived, I've done it, I've got this sussed. And then slowly and gradually, they start creeping back to their old selves. When they've set a clear goal and set clear intentions about what they want moving forwards, they are much more likely to keep moving forwards, particularly when you then, knowing that goal, can fill the gaps and help support them in how to do that. Now, I used to just ask, so what's important to you now? What do you want to do from here? And people would forget about the things that they've just achieved, and they would often miss the fact that they didn't used to say to me, well, I just want to keep sleeping well, I want to keep my energy up, and want my aches and pains down. They were only thinking about what they want next. So they might just say, well, I want to continue dropping some more weight. And actually this psoriasis or eczema on my skin, I just like that to go further. But they weren't thinking about what they want to continue experiencing that they've just achieved, and say, I want to keep that. Does that make sense? And so I now prompt them with that, and I say, so what's important to you now? What benefits would you like to continue to experience? Because that's a different kind of prompt there. I want them to say, I want to keep having the energy levels that I've got. I want them to say, I want to keep sleeping as well as I'm sleeping. Because if they're not saying that, they can fall backwards. They've got to realize what they've got and think about the maintaining of it. Also, I'll ask within that, so what further progress would you like? What is it you'd like to progress further with? And they might that's when they might say those are the bits. Their inflammation's come down the joint. I had someone drop from 8 painkillers, this week, did their results, 8 painkillers a day to 2 painkillers a day. Fantastic. Next goal for them, I want to be off those 2 painkillers a day. Great, further progress. Because once we know what they want and what they'd like to continue experiencing, we can map out a route for them. We can help them. Okay? Now, when people are telling me these things, what they want, I flip over the results form, the tracker form, flip it over, it's just blank paper, and I just start to scribble notes on the back of there and write down what their goals are moving forwards. And I try to use their words as much as possible. I listen to them and I write it down as they say it. Because then when I can reflect it back to them and say, so you say you want this, 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 and this, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what I want, because you used exactly the same words. You're just being a mirror for them. Okay. Once I know that, I do this bit, and this is so simple and so obvious, but it's so important for them. And number 6 is to spell it out. That's what I put here, spell it out. And this is what I say to them, every person. I say, so moving forwards, I just want to highlight, you've got 2 recipes now. And you see them stop and think, and they might be thinking, oh, well, the recipe's in the Facebook group or whatever. And you've got 2 recipes. You've got an old recipe and a new recipe. If you want to go back to feeling how you used to feel, it's really simple. You know the recipe. You know the choices you were making in your nutrition and your lifestyle each and every day. You might have done that for years. Just go back to doing those same things and you'll slowly and gradually and subtly, probably without noticing too much, but you'll start sliding back and end up back where you were. Or you've got the new recipe. The new recipe is everything you've been doing now, all the nutrition you've been following, all the supplements you've been taking. The more you do of what you've been doing, the more likely you are to keep feeling the way you're feeling. But we're going to find a way for you to do that in a more sustainable way. Okay? And I know it's obvious, but spell it out to them. You want the penny to drop again. You want the neurons to fire in their brain and make that connection. Yeah, you state the bleeding obvious, but that's so true. And I'm also connecting the dots for them that their nutrition and their supplements are making them feel like they're feeling now. Yeah, so that is step 6. Really key and simple thing to do with everybody. Okay, hopefully I won't confuse things here. I am now going to go into step 6 of the 7-step overall process, which is about how to kick them on from there, how to do the kick on program, what's the next steps, okay? But this is, you do this within the results appointment. And that's why I'm carrying on with these 7, 8, 9 steps like I've been doing from the first step. Does that make sense? Okay, good. I was getting worried about that bit. So, step 7 is we want to start to communicate what the kick-on program is for them. So you've found out what they want. You've told them about the old recipe and the new recipe and the choice they have now. And now what you want to do is start spelling out about, oh, this is the other thing I say, you know, what you've done in 21 days is you've kicked some old habits and you've created some new habits. But what's important now is they're still very new habits. And we want these new habits to become your new normal, your normal habits that you don't even think about. And so to do that, what's very important is for the next 30 days, you want to keep a lot of those habits going most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. You can do all of the time if you want, but most of the time. Because that will become your new normal. You won't even be thinking about it then. Certainly if it's another 60 days after that, or another 30 days out of that, because we're now looking at 90 days. It's just habitual. So, nutrition. This is what I do. This is my take on it. It's your business. It's your program. You can adapt it. You can change it. You can do what you want. I'm just going to tell you what works with me and my customers. And that is, I say to them, look, and I started doing this about 6 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, when I'm going live now. And I say, right, nutrition. I go into the nutrition first, and then I go into the supplements. So let me tell you about the nutrition moving forwards now. I have my 2222 program. 2222 program. What that means is per week, you can have 2 cheat. By the way, no, I then say, have you enjoyed the meals? Have you enjoyed the way you've been eating? And most of the time people go, yeah, I love the recipes. I feel really good on it. Love the flavors. Yeah, but I would like a bit of this every now and then. And I'm like, that's fine. Okay. So if you could carry on the way you've been eating a lot of the time, but allow yourself 2 cheat meals a week. And I spell out to them and say, if you had 3 meals a day, how many meals is that a week? I get them thinking, and most people are fairly quick because they're just in the program. They go, yeah, 21 meals. And I'm like, great. I say, if you had 19 meals that were great choices over your week, 2 cheat meals a week where you can have whatever you fancy, if you want. You don't have to, but if you did, you can have whatever you fancy, guilt-free. Then they're a drop in the ocean in the grand scheme of things. And they're like, yeah, that's true. And I say, the only caveat to that is never have 2 cheat meals back to back. Always follow a cheat meal with a clean meal. Otherwise, that can be a slippery slope if people aren't, start to feel tired and a bit rubbish. We make our food choices based on our emotional state. People are in a good emotional state, their gut bacteria is good, their mood's good, etc. It's easier to make great choices. If they're eating rubbish, they feel rubbish, they're going to make more poor choices because they're feeling rubbish, and it's got to match their state. and I don't always say that to clients, but sometimes I do. It comes out, sometimes it doesn't. But you know, it helps connect the dots for some people, emotional eaters. And then I say, as well as your 2 cheat meals a week, you can have 2 cheat snacks a week. Most of the week, you're going to be snacking on healthy things like you've been doing on 21 days. But you know what? Let yourself have a chocolate bar. Maybe choose the dark, healthier chocolate if you do, or a bag of popcorn if you want, if you're with your family watching a movie or whatever. I don't know, whatever you do, allow yourself 2 cheat meals. Maybe it's a piece of cake once a week, twice a week. You don't have to if it's not your thing, or a packet of crisps, but it's there. 2 cheat snacks a week. They're like, you know, I could do, because what this does is it makes people consciously make their decisions whether they want it. If they were having biscuits every day and now it's only twice a week, they're going to stop in the tracks and go, is now the time I really want this biscuit, or do I want to save it for another time? They become very, very conscious. So 2 cheat snacks, 2 cheat meals, 2 teas or coffees. Now, I just say to people, it's your daily habits that count. And if you think you could go, you don't have to go back on tea and coffee, but, you know, allow yourself wiggle room if you wanted, guilt-free, to have 2 cups of tea or coffee a week. Now, don't get me wrong, if someone's on the results appointment, and I had someone recently, they were on, and this was no word of a lie, they said about 15 to 20 cups of tea and coffee a day. My jaw nearly dropped. Wired, absolutely wired, but very tired as well. Anyway, like with her, she said straight away, I just want that 1 cup of coffee in the morning. That's all I want. I don't need the others. I'm happy with the herbal drinks now. I've learned new ways. Now with her, I don't mind her going back to 1 a day, because I'd take that based on what she was like before. And I don't want her to go completely off the track. I want her to feel like she's being successful. So I'm going to do some wiggle room with her and say, do you know what? 2 a day maximum, or could you 1 a day? I'm going to set the boundaries with her and meet her with where she's at, because her health is going to be so much better for 1 a day rather than 15. But you know, some people are going, I'm not fussed about going back on tea and coffee. I'm like, well, have 2 a week, but choose them, make sure they're very good quality, and be conscious of when you have them. And I just use my example. I say, I don't have a habit with it. Some weeks I'll go by without having any tea or coffee. Some weeks I'll have 2, you know, it's just, I'm conscious of my choices. They're like, okay, great. And then the fourth 2 is alcohol. And I say, look, some people go, oh, come on, not give or take alcohol, it doesn't matter. Well, fine. But for those who were drinking quite a bit of alcohol, I say, look, just keep it to 2 evenings a week. That's it. And make sure the caveat to that is they're not back to back. Make sure there's a day in between, or 2 between those alcohol evenings. If it's a Friday night, the next one's a Sunday night. If it's a Saturday night, maybe not the following week on the Friday. And the other 2 actually is that it's not having any more than 2 small glasses or 2 alcoholic drinks, unless they're celebrating, it's a party, it's unusual. Yeah, parties. Anyway, you're 2 max on the 2 times they have it a week. It's there as an option, they don't have to have it, but what you're helping them to do is set boundaries where they feel like they can still live a little bit, because you know, that's what other people will be saying to them. Oh, you know, come on, got to live a little, you know, you can't live like a monk. And maybe that it's a partner of theirs that's saying that, or, you know, it just gives them that flexibility. So that's what I communicate to people. Other thing I've just made a note of here, if there's people that you're taking through this and they're doing lots of sport, lots of exercise, they've done the 21-day program and they don't want to lose any more weight, then you can say to them, you can increase your carbs a bit here, especially if you're keeping up all the exercise. You know, bring in some oats and some rice more regularly. That's going to be fine, because they're doing the train. Look at Pete, look, he's just in a celebratory dance, hasn't he? He's like, Pete loves his rice. So, but, you know, because they've got to, if you're going to have these extra carbs, you've got to earn these carbs from doing more movement and exercise, in my opinion. Otherwise, those extra carbs are just going to store themselves right on the waist, right around the middle, because carbs tend to sit themselves, excess carbs tend to sit themselves on the love handles. A lot of it's linked in with the insulin hormone that's related to body fat around the side of the waist. Anyway, does that make sense when it comes to talking about their nutrition moving forwards? Yeah? If you want to work with it, great. If you want to do something on your own, that's fine too. Once you've covered that bit of nutrition with them, it might take me 5-10 minutes or so. I then want to add in straight away and start talking about the supplements. Okay, so that's step 8 here, is you want to be communicating their supplement program to them. And with this, you want to be giving them 2 options. You want to be giving them an optimum supplement program, which may consist of a minimum of 3, maybe 4 supplements. And you want to be giving them an absolute essentials, which typically would be 1 or 2, the bare minimum, right? You might just say, look, I really think this is so important to you. At least if you could do these 2, you know, because, you know, you want them to make decisions. You want them to be in control of the scenario, which they are. You just want to, if it was only 4 supplements or nothing, then that's a big switch and change. If you've got them, you know, a kind of a couple of options, people are much more likely to move forwards. Now, what we want to do is we want to tailor the supplement recommendations based on their needs, i.e., for example, what you know what their priorities are. If you knew that their sleep and their digestive system were rock bottom at the beginning compared to the others, you know that that's their weakest areas. You know that it's going to be really important for their health to make sure they're supported as a priority. So you're going to know what they need more, but also you've got to take into account what their goals are moving forwards, what's important to them moving forwards. Because if they don't feel that what you're recommending them is based on their goals, then they might not move forwards either. So tailor it to their needs and their wants. So these are things to consider. I've broken this down into 2 sections here. Various goals and wants and needs here, and a supplement program, and get various goals and wants and needs here and a supplement program. So let me just run through this. And it's not this or this, there is other options, but you do need to keep it simple for people. I can go into more detail on a future training, but to give you an overview. If someone has just done their 21-day program and their goal moving forwards, or goals, is they want to continue losing weight, that's important to them. If they used to get a lot of energy dips, they want to continue to keep that balanced energy. So maybe you knew they had blood sugar issues and they were getting up and down, they were on sugar and caffeine and they were getting those energy crashes. You know their blood sugar level was out of balance. If that was a problem for them, you need to look at this program. Also, if their gut health, i.e. for example, their digestion or their bowel function wasn't great, they were bloated all the time, they had acid reflux, their bowels were sluggish or too active, any of that going on. Maybe their immune system was a struggle. I've mentioned energy, but maybe also their mood was quite low regularly. If you could see the links between these things here, maybe it was 2, 3, maybe even 4 of these things, and they all linked in. The priority for them, in my opinion, is the Biome Core Kit. The Biome Core Kit, which is two tubs of shake, Biome Shake, which they can either have as their breakfast or they could swap it for their lunch for the next 30 days and have breakfast and evening meal to help their weight reduction further. This isn't a long-term solution. This is just while they've got momentum, get another 30 days done, bring that in as their lunch. Or if you know that they're just like, breakfast isn't their thing, they didn't stomach it much before, they've got into it a bit more, but they could fall back to their old habits, or they're busy and on the go. That's a breakfast. Stick it in a smoothie maybe as well, so they've got the protein and the nutrients at the start of the day. 2 tubs means there's enough for 1 a day for a month. Okay. The other thing in the Biome Core Kit is the Biome DT, the green friend of ours, and what that is doing is it's enough for 1 sachet a day, so they don't have to go carry on with 2 a day. They go to 1 a day, and they have that as their mid-afternoon snack, in my opinion, especially if they want weight loss, because the fiber in it will continue to balance their blood sugar levels. But also if they were struggling with their digestion or their bowel movements, then this is the most important one for them to be carrying on with, along with the Biome Actives. So the third thing in there is the Biome Actives, and that's going to continue to support their gut health, their immune system, their mood, because we know the gut bacteria plays a role in mood. So hopefully you can see here why the protein, the fiber and the actives are going to help with further weight loss, balance the blood sugar with the protein and fiber, support their gut health and their bowels. We know their gut health is related to their immune system. They're no longer getting energy dips because of the protein and the fiber. Their mood is boosted because that's particularly an ongoing process of supporting the microbiome. Yeah? So that would be my optimum. I'd say to them, you know, optimum, that is really key if these are important to you. I mean, I've had some people that they've got this going on, but they've also got a bit of this going on, which I'm about to talk you through. And they add ProArgi9 onto the Biome Core kit. Someone bought that from me last week. Said, yeah, I want to carry on with ProArgi and I want the Biome Core kit because it made such a difference to their life. So let me go to the other section here. Now, if you had someone that was struggling with their sleep in a big way before, if you had someone that had a lot of inflammation going on and they had a lot of aches and pains, if you had someone whose blood pressure has improved and their cold hands and feet or Raynaud's has improved, their circulation's been boosted. If you've got someone who's noticing more energy, better immune system. I mean, it works both ways here. You know, these cover bases for each way, but I would consider this. And skin, someone who's maybe noticed difference in eczema and psoriasis, maybe someone who finds that they've got better focus and better concentration. Then a lot of this could be related to their ProArgi9 because it boosts the circulation, it reduces inflammation, it takes people into deeper, more restful sleep. It boosts circulation to the brain for focus and concentration. So I'd say it's an absolute priority. They're going to carry on with ProArgi9. And ProArgi9 is part of what's called the V3 program. That V3 program, bear with me a second, contains 1 box of ProArgi9, 1 bottle of Mystify. It wasn't on their 21-day program, but Mystify is antioxidants. It's got the acai berry in, the blueberries, the grape skin and seed, pomegranate, and loads more. Antioxidants are anti-inflammatory. Antioxidants are great for the immune system. They're great for energy, and anti-aging. There's so many benefits to this. And it works very, very well alongside the ProArgi9. It also contains what's called Phytolife. And Phytolife is the liquid chlorophyll drink that we have. It's greens that they add to their water. So it keeps them hydrated. It makes water taste good. But we know greens are so good for our body. It's good for our blood. It's good for our digestion. So they work really, really well as a combo. And as a combo, the ProArgi9 will help with sleep. ProArgi9 with the antioxidants and the greens help with the inflammation in the body, circulation, skin. It just covers those bases, okay? Would I consider Body Prime as well if they're struggling with sleep? Yes, but after their 21-day program, most people have got another 3 weeks worth left of the Body Prime to carry on with. So they've already got it. And so they can carry on with their Biome Actives, Body Prime, sorry. By the way, they also have got about another week or so worth of Biome Actives that they can carry on with. So they carry on with that as well. Okay. So if these are the problems that they used to have that have gone, to stop them coming back, look at the V3, or sometimes, quite often as well, I'll get people on 2 boxes of ProArgi9 a day, so they continue with it morning and night, along with the Body Prime and the magnesium. Because people love the ProArgi9. They feel the benefit. They enjoy taking it at the beginning and end of the day. They like the taste. They feel the benefits. And for some people, 1 a day isn't enough to keep their blood pressure down. They really need. I take 2 a day all the time just for general health. Now, you know, some people, they might go, yeah, I want to do something, but the Biome Core is a bit much for me. I mean, a lot of people don't, because they see with the Biome Core, for example, with the protein, they know that they're not going to be eating lunch. Or so if they're having it as a lunch replacement, then that's going to save them money they're spending on lunch that's going into the program. The cost on an auto ship for the Biome Core kit is £145. If you were to buy all of those products individually, it'd be over £200. So they massively discount that. By the way, the cost of the V3, which I've just shown you, is on an auto ship is £99. It is £3.33 a day for the V3. And sometimes, again, you have to spell it out like that to people and say, look, you're not going back to having your coffee every day. You're not going back to drinking the amount of alcohol you were having or those snacks you were having. Just spend that money in a different way and continue to support your body and use it on the supplement regime instead. But also have the backup that, you know, someone said, oh, I'd like to do something, but I don't want to do that much. Well, at the very least, I would say is an essential is, you know, if you want to continue supporting, let's say your gut health was really bad and your mood and your, I would really consider carrying on with the Biome DT and the Biome Actives as a two. They're the most important ones for supporting your gut health and your microbiome. Even if you're not going to have the protein, or they might go, I just really didn't like that green stuff. I can't see myself taking that on going, well, the protein will help you with your weight loss and your blood sugar, and you've got the Biome Actives to continue to support your gut. So, you know, don't feel it's this and this or nothing. You can adapt it to give them like a couple of supplements that either go in there or tick that box there. I can do more training to spell that out a bit more without taking the whole time for this training. But has that given you some kind of idea and outline? Has that been helpful? Good, and thank you for all your nods. That's helpful to see too. Great. Now, when people say yes, they want to do this, and by the way, when I say this, I also add at the end, so you do your nutrition program, you carry on with these supplements that are more relevant to you, and by doing that, if you do want that program, then what I'll do is I'll give you a free follow-up appointment in 30 days' time. This is what I do. Because what I'm interested in is I really want to support them. I want them to still have some accountability. And I want to know in 30 days' time, have I put them on the right program? Is it working for them? Have they made further progress, or has it been maintained? Because I want a business where people say, do you know what, this has changed my life for good. I don't want a business where people go, I do a program, oh, but I just went back to square one again a few weeks later. It's in my interest and their interest to make sure they kick on forwards. So I say I'll give you a free appointment in 30 days' time, and we can get that booked in to keep you accountable and to make sure what you're doing is working for you. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, great. And that's what I do. As soon as they say, yeah, I want to go on the Biome Core, I want to do the V3, great. Let's get you booked in 30 days' time. And what I'm going to do is go through the same questionnaire and measurements with you so we can track your progress. And at that point, if I've got stock, which I do hold stock now because my business has grown and I know what's going on, then I do have stock and I sell it to them there and then. If they're local to me, they'll pick it up from my doorstep, because I'm doing a lot of this online as well now. Occasionally I ship products out to people directly from myself because I make more retail profit. But you know what? If you're busy and you haven't got time for all of that, then just set them up as what's called preferred customers. And you do this online with them, and they will be customers connected to your account. They order directly from Synergy, like we do, at the same prices. Synergy will pay you the commission, and Synergy will ship the products directly to them. They'll process the payment, ship it to them, pay you the commission in a few weeks' time when it's the next month. So that could be really handy, especially with people further afield. You don't earn the retail profit, but it's a lot easier, especially as your business grows and you've got more people. It's less people to think about because they're just either on their monthly auto ship, they're happy doing what they're doing, ordering. If you don't know how to set people up as preferred customers, speak to your sponsor, whoever introduced you to the business, and they can teach you how to do that. What I would say is don't be lazy with this. And what I mean by this is, like, you could just send them to link. You've all got your own free Synergy web shop, whether you know it or not. I can show you where you get that from, get in touch. And people can order through that Synergy web shop. Now, you could be lazy and send them the link. But you know what happens for a lot of people? Life gets busy, and even with the best intentions, they don't get around to it. So what you want to be doing is you want to be taking ownership of that process and say, let me help you get set up as a customer. And ideally, you do that there and then. If you run out of time, book them in. Book them in for a 5 or 10 minute section to go through that with them. And you need to do that really within the next 24, 48 hours. Okay? And try and do it there and then. Get that order set up for them because, you know, it's like someone going to buy a mobile phone. Say, I want to buy a mobile phone. They go to the mobile phone shop and they go, great, yeah, we can get you a mobile phone, but come back tomorrow. They're like, oh, all right. You don't want my business? Or even worse, they keep looking online and they find it somewhere else or another, they've changed their mind. They've lost the momentum. Right, step 9, nearly there. Doing well. Step 9 is to book the 30-day follow-up call. I mentioned that anyway. Book it in the diary there and then. When they say they're doing a program, a kick-on program, book it in the diary because, again, that can be left to drift. Anything could happen and it might not even happen. They need to know they're accountable still and they've got support still. Then number 10, ask for a testimonial. This is so important. Third-party recommendation is the most powerful thing and it's free. Completely free. And you are their new best friend because they feel fantastic and you've done a lot to make that happen, supported them. And so many people will repay you the favor because of what they've done. Now, I'm going to do a whole separate training. This is going to be next week's training. And I'm going to break down how to do really successful interviews. There's a 5-step process to it. I'll take you through it all. I haven't got time for that now. But what I will say now is that there is a way of asking for a testimonial that really works well. And that way is, your results, Sarah, are fantastic. And I know they'll inspire a lot of people to take control of their own health, take responsibility for their own health. Would you be up for doing a video interview with me? Smile, head to one side. I mean, you just use your charm. Just use your charm. But do you know what? Most people's fear would there'd be no way am I doing a video testimonial. They'd be stepping right back. But people will do things for a higher purpose. They will overcome themselves if there's a higher purpose behind it. And people want to contribute. And the thought of inspiring other people and doing something for the higher good helps them to overcome themselves. I have a very high ratio of people that do interviews with me. Not everybody, but a lot of people do because of the way I ask. I'd love it if you could do an interview. No pressure if not, you know, you don't want them to feel pressure, but, you know, no pressure if not, but it'd be great if you would. And I still get some people go, no, I really don't want to do that. I'd rather not. I'm like, that's fine. Absolutely understand. No problem. Would you do a written big testimonial for me? Would you just write a paragraph about how this has helped you? Would you mind if I typed in results, use that paragraph and shared it on social media to inspire more people to step forward and improve their health? Absolutely. How can I help? Yeah, I'll do that. You know, so you will get testimonials from pretty much everyone if you follow up with those who are doing a written paragraph for you as well. Have I followed up with everyone? No, I'll let some people drop off because I'm just busy. But you, especially in the early days, you need to get a lot of these testimonials because let the results and let the program do the talking for you and you won't feel like you have to sell anything. People will be knocking your door down. They will hunt you down, not you hunting them to do your program, please. Desperate. They're coming to you. That happens to me all the time. I'm getting so many inquiries and people are messaging me that I've never met before because their friends just had an amazing result, because they've seen the testimonial, because they're nosy, because that's what they go on social media for, and they see a video of their friend being interviewed and go, what's really? My friend's on Facebook on a video. And they start watching it and then they see something in their own story, their own life experience and go, I need a piece of this. And they trust that person because it's their friend. They go, gosh, if they can do it, I can do it. And it just suddenly you're just spreading your name, your business, not only your Synergy business, but the other services you have beyond into networks of people that you've never been in circles with before. It's the biggest, it is. Referrals and testimonials is the biggest thing that's grown my customer business and probably my network as well, actually, because a lot of people join my business have joined it because they've heard about what's going on. Right. I'll break all of that down in the next training. But, the other thing I'll just say here with the testimonials is ask for reviews. Either ask there and then, would you mind going on my Facebook page? If I send you a link, would you mind going on my Facebook page and writing a quick review for me about your experience? Because again, they go and type away at Facebook, and then suddenly their friends see they've written a review on your business page, and they start exploring your business page. It's completely free, completely free. So yeah, go for it. It's the best thing. And then number 11 is ask for referrals. Ask for referrals. People forget to do this. Make sure you do this at the end of your appointment and say, oh, by the way, do you know anyone else like that's noticed your results, that's heard about your results, that has been inspired, that might be interested in doing it? Oh yeah, I've got a friend. Yeah, I've got a family member. My partners said they're really interested now. Great. What I do is I do a free 10-minute discovery call, and I'll answer all their questions and see whether it's for them. I'll say that again. Great. I do a free 10-minute discovery call so I can answer their questions and see whether it's for them. I'm taking the pressure out of it. They don't want to think they're going to get some high pressure salesperson on a call with them. And by saying I'll see whether it's for them, we can see whether it's for them, just means that it just takes all the pressure out of it. If it's not for them, that's fine. It's no problem. I don't want to take people through the program who aren't ready to do it. So yeah, that's what I say. But you have to spell out and be really clear about what to do to tell their friends. So they need to know to tell their friends to book a 10-minute discovery call with me. So you just say, I'll pass on my details. They can message me on, Facebook or what have you, or pass on my number, and they can arrange a free discovery call. Or if they're happy for you to pass their number to me, I'll give them a call. So yeah, I'll send them a message first and arrange a time for a call. The other thing with referrals is you could ask for the cashback. You could ask the cashback option, which I do. So I'll say to people at this point, they say, oh yeah, I've got some people that might be interested in doing. In fact, I've got a few. Right. I say, well, there's two ways you can do this. You can either refer them to me and I'll take care of them like I have done you. Take them through the process. Or if you're interested in earning some cash back that goes towards paying for some of your own product use, we can look at how we can set you up in a way that gives you some cash back for those referrals. And I let them respond. I get one of two answers usually. Oh no, I can't be bothered with any of that. I just send them to you. Great, that's fine, no problem. Yeah. Some people go, oh yeah, that's interesting. How does that work? And I go, do you know what? Rather than spend time going through that now, let's put you in front of the call and I can just spell out how that works and what's involved with that bit. And they're like, okay, yeah, great. When you're good, I get that in the diary. Don't let that hang in. I get it in the diary. Because I know that they're interested in earning a bit of money back, and that's fine. So when I get on that next call with them, I'm asking them at the beginning, so why were you interested in the cashback option? And they go, I just love to cover my products. That's fine. Right, let me tell you how to do that. Some people go, I'm always interested in earning more money. Then I ask, well, how much more money are you interested in earning? All I'm doing is asking questions and bringing out from them what's of interest. Well, I'd love a little side project. I quite like the look of what right, there's a different conversation there. We can go through the business opportunity about how this can work for them. And then what you want to be doing is getting your sponsor, if you're not experienced to do that, to help introduce them and they can talk through how the business can work for them. But all you're doing is asking questions to filter through and see what they want and meet them with where they're at. And at no point does anybody feel any pressure. It's just like, it's an option. But then they become aware that there's an option. If that's something you want to do, you may not want to grow a team with this, and that's absolutely fine too. If you're watching this recording and you're live on now, that's fine. You don't have to do that. But if you do want to grow a team, create more residual income, create more time, more freedom financially, and more freedom of time, then that's something that's worth considering because it can grow beyond your time and yourself. Final thing, last thing, we are there. It's taken it's about an hour actually of training, I think, from the chit chat we had at the beginning. Step number 12 is to remind people to do the program 2 or 3 times a year. That's what people normally do. And I've been saying this so much more now. I say people service their car every year. This is like giving your body a service every year. Service it at least once a year, but I do it 2 or 3 times. So, it's up to you. Would you like to give you a reminder in 6 months, 12 months? Oh yeah, please get it in your diary. Make sure you follow up with them. They might say, no, don't bother. I'll come to you. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. And then big congratulations. So proud of you. It's been great to support you through the process. Heartfelt congratulations, and you know, and that's it. That's the process. That is how to talk them through. So that's step 5, step 6, how to take them through the results of the celebration appointment, and how to talk about what next, how to kick on from there. Well done, everybody, for sticking with that. I saw lots of nods throughout the process, so it seemed like you were getting it. Feel free to unmute, ask questions. I can see in the chat now as well that there was a question. Oh, it was just Pete saying he's got to go to do some work. Do
you need to stop recording, John?
I can do if you prefer me to.
Oh no, it's. I'm just still. I'll keep on my best behaviour. That's all. So.
You're looking after me, aren't you, Ros? Right. Okay. I'll stop the recording. And if you're watching the recording, you've got questions, just use the WhatsApp groups or get in contact with your sponsor, and they'll be able to help. Take care. Bye-bye.